Hi, my name's GrayDP, and today we're going to be talking about creating patterns in Blender. In particular, we're going to talk about creating stripes, which is one of the most basic patterns that you can create. I want to show you how simple it can be to create a stripe in Blender. Now, my journey for creating stripes started about 10 years ago whenever I created this character right here. This character was based off of me, and the shirt that he's wearing is inspired by the one that I'm wearing right now. And so I wanted to try to recreate something like that. And someday I'll go into the journey of how that all came about. But today we're going to get right into creating the stripe pattern in Blender. Now I have a couple of things already set up. I have a character that I created that I've already set a couple of things up on this shirt. I'm not going to necessarily go into detail on how everything is set up right now. Right now I just have like a pattern that's kind of going into that's going to give like the texture, and that's creating the bump. And then I have this other little thing that's creating the little cuffs and the color for the shirt, setting aside the color. I'm not going to necessarily go into how to set that up, but it's actually pretty easy. I just use like a color attribute to be able to, with being fed through a color ramp, to be able to tighten up the edges, to be able to create that. But what we're going to talk about today is creating the stripe pattern in Blender. And this is extremely easy once you know how to do it. All it takes is just a few nodes. We're going to start off with this texture current node. We're going to add in a mapping node, vector mapping. There you go, if I can find the right one. We're going to give that our UV coordinates. Now, for something like this shirt, what I like to try to do whenever I'm creating if I'm doing this for something I'm going to do like on a shirt or something, I like to try to set up my seams where the seams would be naturally. So like I'm looking at my shirt right here, I have a seam across the shoulder, I have one right here at the arm, I have one that goes under the collar, I have one that goes along the sides, and then I think there's another one like right here around the neck, where the split is. So that's why I have the seams arranged the way that they do in here. That's just so that I can arrange things with the seams if I want to try to match things up and make it, I want the pattern to lay correctly on the shirt. All right, so we're going to feed this into a wave texture node. So wave texture. Now, the wave texture creates by default this little sine texture. Right now we're looking at it on the X. I'm actually going to want this, I believe, on the Y for this particular project, because that's where my stripes are going on this particular shirt. They're going in this direction. I can do them on the X, I can do them on the Y. We can also do them on the diagonal. And right now I have this set to bands, but you can also use rings if you wanted to. And for rings, I would set that to spherical. But we're not going to really deal with that today. We're going to come back over here. Let's go back to bands, and we're going to put this back on the Y. That's just for this particular shirt. It works. This particular pattern. This is the way I want to do it. But any of those other options will work as well. Now, you'll see that it's forming like a gradient that goes from black to white. This is doing so along a sine wave. So there's a bit of a spread and condensing around the X and the Y. So because it's a little bit more of like it's almost like an ease in, ease out type of curve. For the black and the white. The triangle profile would be a little bit more like a linear from X to Y and then going back the other way. So it'd be like a linear repetition. What I'm going to try to use, and what I find works best for trying to do a pattern such as like the one on my shirt, is the saw texture. This is a wave that goes from black to white along a gradient. Once it gets to the white, it immediately cuts to the black. I find that this type of a pattern is a lot more intuitive to work with and easier to control. Now, the sign and the triangle will create like an A, B, C, B, A type pattern, but I find you can create that with this type of texture as well, but it's a little bit more easy to control on how big the markers are. So to this, we're going to add in a converter color ramp. And we're going to change this from linear to constant. Now what this is, basically what this is, right? The scale right here, let me just bring this down for a moment. The scale controls how frequently the pattern is going to repeat, while the color ramp adjusts the pattern itself. So depending on where you have the markers down here, that's going to be the patterns for your stripe. In this case, we want, we're going to need 4 markers. All right. 2 of the markers are going to be white. I'm going to take this one and I'll make that one white. There you go. I just need the 4 markers. All right. And what's cool, let's see, let's pull, you can be as mathematically precise as you want to be with these. Oops, 0.5 is what I meant to put that. And let's make this 1.6. And then we'll make this 1.1. And right now it looks like we just have a repeating of the same thing. But what's cool is using the color ramp, we can change the color of the markers. So I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to turn it blue, and I'm going to take the other one and I'm going to make it red. And just like that, you have your stripe pattern for the shirt. And it was really quick and easy to create that pattern. Now, if I adjust the scale here, you can see that changes how frequently the pattern is repeating on the shirt. And I think I'm gonna go like that, right there. And I think I might actually make these a little bit thinner. So if I change this, I'm gonna change this to 0.05 and change this one to 0.55. So that's just going to make those just a little bit narrower, a little bit more prominent on the white. Now I'm going to, for the purposes of showing on this particular one, I'm going to feed that into here. I'm going to make this color be my white color. And then now we're going to feed this into here. So basically what I'm doing is, what I'm doing with this right here is I'm excluding part of the pattern from this very bottom part, from basically like where the cuff area would be. I'm just going to pull this maybe down a bit, or maybe I need to pull it up. Let me see. Yeah, I think I need to pull it up. There you go, just so I can get that last stripe in there. Kind of making that tight there. There we go. All right. Now, there's a couple of things I need to adjust right here. I would adjust the positioning of the UV layout to get this to work correctly, like I would adjust the position of the UV layout of where this marker is so that it would match up with the stripes there. It's one of those things you don't have to do, but you can do. A similar thing right here is you can adjust the positioning of the UV layouts so that the stripes would match up a little bit more consistently and correctly there. But the point I was trying to make with this video is it is really simple to create stripe patterns in Blender. And it's really as simple as a texture coordinates node, a mapping node, a wave texture, and a color ramp. And with this color ramp, you can add as many markers as you want. You can position them any way that you want. And what's really cool is if I want to change the pattern, like say I wanted to make this, make broad red stripes and thin white stripes, right? So just like that, I completely changed the pattern of my shirt, just like that, right? What if we want to make the blue ones bigger, right? So I just pull the blue ones and I make it like that. And now the blue ones are bigger. Well, if I want to change the order in which they're going, well, see, I can come over here. I can do, put my markers where I think I want them. And just like that, I changed to a completely other pattern. It's really easy to change the pattern with just a couple of really quick tweaks. Stripe patterns are very useful because they're found a lot in textiles. You'll see them on curtains, on shirts, on towels, bedding, furniture. They're all over the place. Just take a look around. You can see where stripes can be found. So go forth, make some stripe patterns, and I look forward to seeing what you guys create. Y'all have a great evening, and we will see you in the next video.